Oh, welcome aboard. Doing just getting started. So I realized there wasn't the was it the meeting ID or the passcode wasn't on there. So updated that on the Facebook page so some more people may join in. But James was just speaking about looking to do this at work. So we'll touch base on that a little bit, included a link in the article. And that's our main one of our main themes right now is with Cards for Kids, trying to push across, like our theme is during this time of social distancing, people are working together to make a difference. And that's the kind of, almost like a little play on where like working together, even though it's apart, but we're trying to say together as in like using Zoom or some kind of video conferencing. And the big thing, what we've been hearing is like with this, everyone working at home, people feel disconnected. What we're trying to say is, using video conferencing so you're still able to communicate with your coworkers, and then, you know, trying to use this time as helping us because we are the people who we're reaching right now are the people who are, you kind of say, like impacted the most by COVID and this social distancing because we're reaching seniors and we've been picking up like thousands of extra seniors who are, stuck in their senior homes more. Hopefully they'll be, I'm not sure, I've been checking in with my contacts to see if they've been vaccinated in their senior homes, if they'll be some of the first, but reaching some of those seniors in their senior homes, and then also reaching children with pre-existing conditions. So those are some of the people who need the cards the most. So we're trying to get those cards so we can reach some of those people who need the encouragement the most. So we're trying to say, yes, we know people are working remotely, but you guys stay connected so we can help encourage the people who may feel a little bit disconnected since they're not able to get as many visitors as they usually do. Because I volunteer at a children's hospital here in Chicago, but they don't let any of us volunteers come in at all. So usually we go take the prime toy or the prime craft is taking these little wood blocks that they can paint. That's always a big deal there. We take those to the kids' rooms, but no volunteers. So I don't know how those kids are getting those wood blocks. So it's the thing that we're trying to say is let's still reward and connect these kids and giving them cards and doing what we can from there. So it's something where our request is like, we can give you some recommendations, give you some tools and stuff to look into. But the main request is like taking a screenshot of people, like if you guys are doing like video conferencing, taking a screenshot afterwards. And that's our big thing is, highlighting this company here work together to help us reach more people. And another thing too is a lot of people are, so yes, we're based in Chicago, but a lot of people, I don't know, well, we'll just be honest here. A lot of people are more focused, like thinking Chicago, US, English, but we're reaching people around the world. And then even I'm sure as you can imagine, the US, Chicago, like, it was shocked hearing from our partner in Maine when they asked for cards in Somali, hearing from our partners in Florida asking for cards in Portugal. Like, so I think it's the main thing is encouraging people. We have it on one of the slides that we'll go through is like needing cards in a variety of languages. So asking people to utilize their skills and their ability to speak in other languages or write in other languages if possible.
Yeah, that's helpful. I'm wondering, do you all do you have representatives from Cards for Kids who are available to speak at any of these organization functions and sort of talk about the landscape and the need and sort of the global impact? Or do you just sort of leave that to people who are sort of leading the card party or what have you?
So we do that if the group is making a donation, then we'll have someone on our team join in and kind of talk about, why the cards are delivered room to room, So I'm a gentleman, like I myself had brain surgery, and so I know what it's like being stuck in the room. And, I can touch on my experience of 20 plus years of volunteering. So I know what it's like being a patient, being a volunteer, and being an employee at a hospital, and talk a little bit about that and talk about the impact of the cards and et cetera, and talk about actually how valuable that work is. So can provide some of my own personal story, but it's the thing is, you know, doing cards for kids on the side and then also doing contract work. So we don't say there's a set amount, but there is some kind of donation.
What is the general donation amount?
We've received anything from 5,000 to, or sorry, 500 to, I think one group did 500 to 5,000 for those. And it's been arranged. It's been from, some of them have been like the corporation doing it or the company doing it. And then some have been individuals, so if we wanted to, we could set up a donation page for you guys separately, and you can just get people, 100 people donating $5 or, 10 people, but there's no set amount. It's just whatever you guys think is fit for that. And that's something that we can do.
And then what is generally how far in advance do we need to schedule something like that?
That preferably at least, because it's depending on, preferably at least like 3 weeks, because I need to make sure that I'm, off of my, like my paying job, so making sure that I have that part off, like don't have any meetings or anything like that scheduled. So that is just preferred time, having like 3 weeks through there.
What would be the process?
It's just reaching out, letting saying, here, we want to do it this time, this date, and I'll go through, double check all of my calendars, making sure that that's free, and then saying like, if it is like a corporate, like you're going to do it, then you can just go ahead and make that donation. But then if it was what we're talking about, like the employees making individual donations, then I'd go and set up a page for you guys, and set that up, and you guys would all make your donations on there. And then we would, I'd come in and speak and talk about, because I think it's a lot of people, how I do it, if I'm coming to speak at an event, I like to speak at the beginning and the end, because a lot of people, at the beginning I'll talk and introduce Cards for Kids and my experience, the value of it. And then at the end, kind of remind people the value of their cards. Because a lot of people make cards and using markers, glitter glue, like that's a lot of fun. And a lot of people are just focused on how much fun it was and actually forget that, they made a difference. Forget that a family in the Ronald McDonald House in Australia may receive their card and was so excited, just sent some cards to Nashville and after the shooting, and they were really excited, and, just kind of reminding people, yeah, you had a great time, but, social distancing, so you have to do it yourself, pat yourself on the back because you did an amazing job.
What is the best email to reach you at to request something like that?
Yeah, I'll put it in here.
I will admit that my turnaround is very, very tight, and we are happy to make a corporate donation. I will send you an email as soon as I get off this call. And if it can't happen, that's totally fine. We'll still do the card making, but I would love to have you there to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. And it's something too where we, talking to, so once again, like I mentioned it a little bit biased with my own, so everything with Cards for Kids is biased because I myself went through brain surgery and went through all kinds of testing. So I know what it's like being a patient, being stuck in the room. So that's why like people making cards and partnering with all of our partners that we work with have to promise that they'll deliver all the cards room to room, because I know what it's like being a patient stuck in the room. So it's like, you can't leave your cards in a basket, or you can't leave, because I know what it's like being that patient. And so that's one of the things we also set up is we're working with our partners and we're rewarding them. If they take pictures, then we'll purchase these portable entertainment systems that can be rolled to the children's room. So it's like some of the kids who are, stuck in their rooms based on their conditions, whether it's, like myself getting EEGs or, low blood count, any kind of thing where they're stuck in their room, they can still play these little Xboxes with the TV and play in their room, just like the kids who are able to walk down to the Family Life Center or walk into other areas, and trying to encourage those kids as well. So it is something where if you guys do match that threshold, if that's what you were looking for, then you can get one of those donated in your name. So been donating a few of those, like Google, when they donated one, they donated it in Pittsburgh because that's where their office was growing. And so they have one of those with their logo on it in a nonprofit in Pittsburgh, so they can do it. And there's, just different companies or nonprofits or different places like pick where they want their systems to go, just for their own kind of branding and notoriety, recognition, etc.
That's helpful. I saw on the Facebook that there's some conversation about bookmarks, but I don't see a guide for making those on the website. Were there sort of like some general guidelines around supplies for cards? I don't see.
So on the bookmarks, there's something on the frequently asked questions about bookmarks, and it's the same for bookmarks. This is being recorded. Let's see if you can give you guys a look. I don't know if you can see there, but if we look at all that, this is my living room right here, and say about 80% of those are bookmarks. And that's been the hot trend right now, is people making bookmarks. And the major thing is a lot of the stuff with what people are making bookmarks is people are making bookmarks that say are either blank or making bookmarks that are saying stuff like reading is fun, reading opens your imagination, reading, all which are true. And we are all about encouraging people to read. But it's now to the point where we're getting more bookmarks than cards. So it's to the point where our goal, we want to be able to, so it's to the point where we're getting more bookmarks than cards. And if we don't have enough cards to give it, and we just thinking about it, if we go to a place and one child gets a bookmark, or one child gets a bookmark that says, reading is great. Another child gets a card that says, you're one in a million, you can do amazing things. One child is like, reading is great, when I'm amazing, and it's that kind of thing. Like, okay. So it's what we're trying to do is like, okay, if you're gonna make a bookmark, that's cool, but make sure you make a bookmark that is telling that child or that senior or whoever that they're great, not just about reading, And don't get me wrong, I'm a teacher's pet. I still talk to my kindergarten teacher. We're friends on Facebook, friends on Facebook with my third grade teacher, my college professor. She started this up with her students. So reading is great, but it's the whole thing about, if you're making one of those, make sure treat your bookmark like a card, and reminding the kids that they're special, not just about reading. And that's all on our number one on our frequently asked questions.
Thank you for that.
And it's if we get some of those bookmarks that are being treated like cards, and we'll be able to, mix those in and actually hand them out like they were cards instead of like, because right now how we have to do is, here are some cards and some additional bookmarks that we can add on to it, you know, because we can't just have a child getting one that says, enjoy reading, another child saying, why can't you give Elsa a balloon? She'll let it go. You're a true princess, you know, that would be a little
Yeah.
bit different.
Yeah. Are there other sort of like general things that you like recommend? Like, what are some things that you want people to know before embarking on like a card making session?
My number one thing right now, I'm a bit traumatized. And what I was gonna do in the beginning was kind of get some of the participants, you guys' view on what could be done. Number one is, you know, has been posting it a little bit, is our kids, our seniors, the people who we're reaching are valuable 365 days a year. And that is something that is, I don't know, a lot of people, I don't know if to say miss or, but don't necessarily focus on. So a lot of people think like, it's Christmas time, let me make happy holidays or Merry Christmas, and then they send a card. And as you guys just saw, the cards come here based on COVID. We let them sit for a little bit and then we ship them. You know, we heard sending cards to Australia, sending cards to all over. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a hospital that's a mile down there, but you know, we're getting thousands of cards here and then going around. And so with the Christmas rush, there's going to be people coming to pick some up and proof them, but there's probably going to be 5,000 cards that will have to sit till next year because we got them like December 15th through January, you know, sometime in there. So I think it's going to be similar. I'm going to try to post all kinds of stuff and do things on our page and have done some timeline things, but it's going to be similar for Valentine's Day. So I don't know really like what else to do to convey to people, but there are not thousands of kids running around my place where I can say, you know, hey, here's an encouraging card. Someone, you know, because people send messages like, oh, here's my shipping receipt. It should get there by December 24th. And it's like, interesting. I mean, if it's cool with you, I'm going to spend Christmas with my family, but you know, but that kind of thing is, if people are thinking of making Valentine's Day cards, our kids are valuable 365 days a year, not just on Valentine's Day. So putting some kind of message talking about conveying love rather than conveying Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes. My last question is about like, if people wanted to put like a gift card or something in a card, is that allowed or is that not allowed?
I would say that is not allowed. Just because it's the kind of thing, if you guys make a card, if you guys make some cards, that would be sent to us, and then we split them up to our different partners, because we'd like to give our partners like a wide array, so that way they can, you know, get a diverse amount. Because I remember there was one of our partners who gave us a picture of a little girl wearing a unicorn with her unicorn card, because it was like perfect. She loved unicorns and it was like pink matching. So we give them a wide array so they can match it with the children and who likes what. And so it would be, you know, kind of what we were talking about with the bookmarks. It would be a little unfortunate if, you know, one child got a card with a gift card and another child didn't. You know, they'd be a little bit like, one may feel slighted. Like, I didn't get as much, even though they got an amazing card. They may think, oh, I didn't get money with my card, why not, et cetera, something like that, you know. So I think it would be something more where donating towards your your page or your something where we'd be able to reward that hospital or that nonprofit or something where you guys wanted to. So we can, if it was individuals looking to that, we can set up a separate page for you guys where you can donate towards it and build it up and, rewarding that place with iPads or those portable entertainment systems or something like that. But it's just, don't want other kids or other people to feel slighted based on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's all that I have. That's helpful. Thank you. I would love if we can make it work for you to be a part of some of our card making sessions, but it is it is sooner than that 3-week time frame. But either way, we'll take pictures and share sort of what we're working on.
When is the event? Do you have it set?
So we have a global week of service happening the 3rd week of the month. And so I would like to do something between the 18th and the 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like now. So from a time and date perspective, it's kind of flexible. I put some proposed dates on my calendar, but that's not, I don't need to be married to those things.
Yeah, if you reach out and let me know, and I can try to put something on my calendars, all my different calendars, and we can see about securing that.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And do you want to, well, I guess we've gone over a lot. I was going to go through some of the more background, but did you have specific questions, or did you want to kind of just go through our normal overview?
You could go through the overview. I have one question, but that can wait.
Okay. Well, James, I guess, did you want to go through the overview, or did you want to?
I'll stick around for sure. I'll be sort of listening because I need to type, but yeah, I'll stick around.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is more of our, some of the frequently asked questions that we get. So I know that we covered some of these already. So for those ones, I will kind of skip over. So this one, I think, as we all understand, it's surprising with how active we are on social media and websites still being up, that how we get this. But I think for this right here, just the main point with this is based on COVID-19. We all understand that we're still active, but we do take additional steps with the cards, promising all of our partners that we proof the cards and we, hold on to the cards that we receive for an additional week before we, even touch them or share them with volunteers. So it's based on that. It does take us even longer to proof them and, make sure they're okay. And that's one of the reasons why pushing and trying to figure out what we can do to encourage people to not make holiday cards and not make Valentine's Day cards, for upcoming Valentine's Day, instead making cards saying you are loved, and rather than referring to the specific holiday. For this one here, in terms of other ways to get involved, as we've talked about here, making cards, that's kind of one of the baselines that's been going on. We talked about with James here in terms of the Zoom events, trying to get people to, during this time of social distancing, working together. And people can send us screenshots of that. That's appreciated. Another part that's looked over a lot is donating. We did talk about with the portable gaming systems is something that we're doing, trying to reward our partners for taking pictures, because with them serving children in hospitals, it definitely takes more time for them to get some of those pictures. And then some of the people in the Chicagoland area currently helping proof some of the cards. So working with another nonprofit who is coming a little bit later today to pick up some of the cards, and we're going to have some virtual card counting parties where they're going to look over and review the cards to make sure they're appropriate. So anyone else
So what are you looking for when you prep the cards?
So it's let me see if I still have it on the floor here. Okay, yep, I got it right here. So for the cards right now, we're proofing them to make sure they don't say things like this. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it there?
Yeah.
So this is one of the cards that we received. And
Okay.
just to read it, cafeteria wars, where are the kids? It's Christmas, they don't have school, oh right. And it's a man, two people walking in, one has an automatic gun and another one has a knife. And
Oh my.
they're walking into the cafeteria. And so it's,
Okay.
you know, based on that, it's, you know, things like that is we're checking all the cards because we get cards like that, you know, and we get cards that are saying, you know, sorry, you have coronavirus. You know, we get cards that are, you know, store-bought cards and all kinds of things. So it's checking and proofing the cards to make sure that they're actually encouraging and actually building people up and that they're actually handmade.
Okay.
And that's a big thing that we are doing. And then taking the pictures and posting them, because it's through social media right now that we're letting people know that their cards were received. So that's one of the things, is proofing the cards, counting them, and then taking pictures. And that's some of the main ways that we're doing it.
Okay, thanks.
And then the final one is just kind of spreading the word, letting people know, because that's, you know, I'm a marketing man myself, so what we always say is word of mouth, one of the most efficient forms of marketing. So spreading the word, telling people about Cards for Kids and how they can get involved in the kind of things that we're doing. So with this, in terms of where the cards are being sent, this, you know, as of November 2020 or early December, so all completely outdated. We've done way more than this so far, but sent cards to schools. That's, you know, a sad point, but some of the schools have been impacted by violence and other tragedies that have taken place, but sent cards there to hospitals, foster homes and Ronald McDonald houses, senior living homes that have been impacted with COVID-19 and other situations, and then a lot of other direct deliveries and other special places. So, you know, with our, obviously I'm guessing, as you can tell by our name, Cards for Kids, we're originally just sending cards to children, but based on some of the increases and some of the amount of cards that we've received and our overall interest, we've been able to expand and reach a lot more people.
Okay.
Not sure if this is something you guys would be as interested in, but get the question all the time in terms of volunteer hours, and that's something we're not able to sign off on. With this here, in terms of the card design rules, the main thing is what I tell people about, like, when you're making cards, using my biased opinion, I'm a gentleman with epilepsy. And so if someone were to make a card for me during one of my EEGs or experience in the hospital, and it said, get well soon, you know, that wouldn't really work. You know, epilepsy is not like a common cold or, you know, something where you get over in a few weeks. So if someone said, get well soon, sorry, I can't, you know, like, can't really help out there, you know. So our cards that we make are really encouraging people, not really reminding them of their situation. And we got a blog post that is going to be coming out in a few weeks about stay strong. That's a message that we've been getting so frequently. and trying to switch it, get people to say, instead of saying something like stay strong, which is more of like a request or commanding these kids to do something, what I say is instead of a request, making it more of a proclamation. Instead of saying like, hey, you need to stay strong, you need to do this, proclaiming, making a proclamation that you're strong, telling these people that, you know, you're an overcomer, you're already, you know, already letting these people know that they're special, not that they need to do something else. And that's what our goal is. Another one of the things that here is like, with these children, the people that we're reaching is they're going through, a lot of them have long lasting conditions and are going through a variety of situations. And that's where we kind of combine the last two. With the lasting conditions is using cardstock, because that's something where it's a little bit more, will last longer than construction paper. I've heard from families who take their, you know, I don't have the right cup with me, but, you know, the mother was talking about how for her, she, when they have a doctor's appointment, it's like phone, keys, wallet, she grabs those, and her, I think it was her daughter, grabs her cards. And that's what they take every time they go to the doctor's appointment. You know, so that's something where it's important to get cardstock, something that will last a little bit longer. And then in terms of the fuzz balls, pipe cleaners, sprinkle glitter, some of those other supplies that are used, those are all things that we're trying to avoid. With the fuzzy stuff, that's something where it can spread germs a little bit more. And then, as we know, with the glitter, something that's talked about so much these days in terms of ventilators, we had one of our partners reach out to us about the sprinkle glitters, how that can get into the breathing tubes if it is falling off the cards. So those ones are all like set aside and don't really go to our partners, just because that could cause more long-term issues. So if you look onto on our website, on our how-to page, we have a little thing or you can click on that talks about supplies, and it lists out all of our recommended art supplies. And there's a little link to that blog post all about, you know, a bit fuzzy, that talks about why we don't have those art supplies on there, what we recommend. We did touch about this, about the holiday cards and how we're trying to avoid, you know, the holiday season, Valentine's Day season, but just some things to keep in mind. And then this is something we did talk about as well, needing more than just English, having a wide array, since this list is continually growing in terms of our new partnerships. The one request that wasn't touched on is if people are making cards in other languages, when you're sending them over, would be a huge help if you, you know, whoever's making them, if they included like a Post-it or something on them that listed out what language it was, you know, because that would save the volunteers a lot of time from trying to, like, you know, Google scan and figure out what it was, since we are putting a lot of work on the volunteers here trying to figure that out. And then, yeah, so another thing is just with it, when shipping the cards, including them in a Ziploc and sending them over. And then another thing is including the name of the group that if you're wanting it to be just on your own, that's fine. No need to include the group name in the return address if you're what we call independent artists. But, you know, James, I think if you're doing this with your group's name, if everyone's doing it remotely, asking people to, whether it's including a note in the package or having some people do it in the return address, somehow making it so the people on this end can know that all of those cards should be tracked as a group. And then we'll always keep the address on our how-to page, frequently asked questions page, the contact us page. So before sending the cards, just check one of those pages and you'll be able to see, because, you know, currently in discussions about potentially moving our mailbox. So just recommend checking out one of those pages and you'll see where to send the cards. And then asking people to take pictures, because we do post so many pictures of cards across all of our sites, all of our social media, but trying to post pictures of some of our artists as well. So we want to trying to prove that volunteering is fun, other people can get into it, and that, it's important and a good time. And then this is what been receiving a lot of questions and comments about this recently, about, how will they know, how will people know, have we received their cards, etc. So it's one of the things, the blog post here, Solemnly Swear, is we, swear that we will post pictures of every card that we received on at least one of our social handles. And the way, if you wanted to get an alert or notification, just including Instagram or Twitter, because those are ones where we can directly tag an individual. And if you do that, you'll get an alert or notification, but we will be posting those pictures across all of the, across our social media handles on at least one of them. The big thing is right now, based on COVID-19 and, no longer, so based on COVID-19, we're taking a little bit longer before we open the packages. And then on top of that, we're a little bit shorter on volunteers. It does take a little bit longer for us to count the cards, but, we have some new volunteers who are coming to help out later on today to pick up some packages and doing some other work. So we will be very socially active these next few weeks. And speaking of socially active, there's some of the social sites if you wanted to see some of our updates. Okay. Did you have an additional question, Kendall? Did you want to ask the question that you have?
Yeah. So we are actually a group of women who make cards. It's a hobby. We've done cards for troops for a long time, where we make the cards, send them, leave them all blank, send them over there so they can send them home to their loved ones. And so we just need a couple things clarified. So on the website, it said that we should sign the cards, like first name and then where we're from. Is that like, so normally when we make our cards, we put on the back, we put who makes them. But are you saying that you actually want us to sign the cards as if we are sending it to the kid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So it's for this, it's not, because we've talked to some people, asked like, worked with other nonprofits where it's just front and leave them blank and someone else fills this out. With us, it's like you take all the credit for it. Like, someone's going to open the card and receive a completed card from their friend, Kendall.
Okay. Okay.
That's how it works.
Okay. And have you ever had anybody, like, so what we work with predominantly a group where all of our stamping material is through a catalog, Stamping Up. And have you ever worked with anybody that did stamped cards for you?
We have had some stamped cards, but it's the main thing. Like that, so we get some, like a bunch of stamped cards, but it's like, in terms of the stamped, is like the inside messages are stamped. Is that what you're referring to? Like,
no, the basis of the question is, we have, so if I were to make these cards and sell them, I have to put a copyright Stamping Up stamp on it. Now, I don't know if I need to, on the actual start. Yes.
Okay.
And so it's on the back, and I don't think that we're going to need to do it, or if we do, it's not that big of a deal. But I was just wondering if you've ever had any other groups do that.
Okay, so yeah, we've had not, people haven't done copyright, but we've had like people who put stuff like on the back, like this was handmade by,
okay,
and do those. So if it is copyright or some. It's just the big thing. You can put whatever you want in the back, but the big thing is making sure that it still seems handmade.
Okay, perfect.
You can put whatever you want in the back, but if it looks like Hallmark or sorry if this is being recorded and will be posted, like Hallmark American Greetings, hi guys, but if it looks like it is store-bought or something like printed on there or whatever, then that will be more of an issue. But in terms of copywriting and putting something like that on there, that shouldn't be as much of a problem, because we have a group of ladies, the card ladies, and all those kind of people who put something like that on there.
Right. Okay. Because yeah, these are some of the ones. I don't know where the camera is. Can you see this?
I can see the front. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the things that we make. They're the size, and they're all okay. Perfect. Then that answers my questions.
Yeah. So that's good, and I think it's just including, and it's with those, like, because we get a lot of those that are good. There's some people who I think are, when they're making the cards, often think about, so yes, we are reaching, around the McDonald houses around the world, and we're trying to partner with more Make-A-Wish, and, we sent, with what you guys are talking about, we are partnering with a couple of VA hospitals, and I think, what was it, military missions. We sent them cards, so handmade cards, was it playing cards and baseball cards, so sending a lot, but our goal is for, like what I was talking about with James, is we're telling these different partners, take pictures of, if you take pictures of your staff or patients or whoever with these cards, we'll reward you with one of these entertainment systems. So we're trying to get more of these partners to take pictures of their, someone with the cards. And our goal is for everyone who receives these cards to feel like, I'm the one and only person who has this card, because this card is handmade. It's 100% unique. So we're trying to encourage people not to make, mass produce a whole bunch of the same, but to make them unique in some sort, changing something up just a little bit so the cards are somewhat unique.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Just because that's something that we will have to consider a little bit, or worry about a little bit, if it is doing some more of the, as we're encouraging people to take more of these pictures, etc. So just something we keep in mind.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I see James left. Were there any other questions that you had?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much. I appreciate your help.
Okay, sounds good. Looking forward to seeing. Oh, another thing is, if you guys do make those cards and you send them, like, I'm not sure if you guys would send them all together, if they would be individual, but like I was mentioning,
they would be all together. Like, we would send you a box of like 300.
Okay, yeah. So if you include your name on them, or include something on there where we would know, then we'd be able to track that. Because if you look on our participants tab, you'll see, like, Google and all these kind of like corporations, and then you'll see like the Busy Bees and Carla Sue Travel, a couple, like, just, group, like what you're describing, groups of ladies who make cards on their own. So Fortune 500 companies, and then groups of friends getting together and making cards. So it's all of the above in terms of who participates in Cards for Kids.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
All right, thank you. Looking forward to seeing those cards and your artwork.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.